All right, guys, let's get into this. Going over the skinny fat to shreds blueprint. Now, I compiled everything that took me from this skinny fat body to the body I have now, where I'm lean, I'm confident, I have that toned aesthetic to my physique. And I'm here to show you guys how you can get it too. And when I say these things about my physique now, and when I give you guys this advice, understand that it's not that I'm better than you or I think that I'm better than you. It's that I'm just farther along the timeline, right? We're all on this continuum. I'm just further along in this fitness journey than you are. But eventually, you keep doing this, and especially you follow these things, you'll get there. You can make it happen too. So let's get into it. So skinny fat to shreds blueprint. This is my physique. I took this picture maybe a week ago. So to start off, congratulations on just viewing my blueprints. If you're like me or my clients, you've been wanting to get toned for as long as you can remember. Maybe you even lost some weight like I did, but you still look undefined. As you can see in this picture, you want that abs, you want the veins, you want the overall muscle definition in your arms and your shoulders and your chest, but you're not getting the results that you want. This is for you. This isn't for somebody who's looking for some little 30-day challenge, some little 30-minute ab workout. No, no. This is like a full blueprint to change your life. So actually like take a moment and understand what I just said. This isn't a 30-day challenge. This is something that you should learn and you should internalize, and you'll literally use this for the rest of your life. I guarantee you, if you truly internalize and understand everything I say in this video. Um, so let's talk about what it really means to be skinny fat, which is, I mean, I gave you my visual representation, but let's talk about what's going on under the hood. What's going on internally, mentally, emotionally. The five emotions every skinny fat guy feels. They're frustrated because I'm speaking from experience. No matter how much weight I lost, no matter how much cardio I did, no matter how much I cut my calories back, it didn't matter. I wasn't getting any more definition. Maybe I'll get like a tad bit more definition, but compared to the amount of weight I was losing and how much effort I was putting in, it was very poor results. So it was very frustrating because I was kind of seeing the results, but not the results I wanted to see. Another one is confusion. This is particularly if you're on social media, you see these people giving skinny, lean guys bulking advice or giving cutting advice to fat dudes. And maybe you were like me and you lost weight and then you became skinny fat, but you don't know what category you currently fall in, which is something I was so confused with because I was hearing all these dudes giving bulking advice and all these dudes giving cutting advice, but I was like, I had like the worst of both worlds. I needed to cut fat, but I also needed to bulk up and build muscle. So that's a very prevalent and common emotion to feel when you're skinny fat. Another one is fear. I went from fat to being skinny fat, and I definitely didn't like being skinny fat, but it was better than being fat, right? So when we're hearing thoughts of potentially bulking up or having to put on muscle, I got scared because I didn't want to have to gain weight again. I didn't want to have to bulk up again. That was like the last thing on my mind. Like I didn't come all this way just to go back to where I started from, essentially. Another one is helplessness. Like you kind of like the confusion one, like you don't know what to do. Like every day that goes by, you're scared of should I eat more calories? Should I eat less calories? Should I do cardio? Should I lift? Like all these different things. Another one is overwhelmed because you don't want to mess things up. I remember I was scared that I might have lost a bunch of muscle, which I probably did. But I want to tell you guys, these are all normal emotions. If you're going through these things, that means you're in the right spot when it comes to watching this video. Um, Page 3. So this is where I got into the seven secrets. Secret one, the number one mistake you're probably making if you're skinny fat. And like I said in this video, skinny fat, I describe it as just being average weight. You have more fat than you have muscle. You don't have that toned physique, but people wouldn't look at you when you have a shirt on and say that dude's fat, right? They'd probably say, yeah, he's a thin dude, but then you take your shirt off and you have no definition, right? So, the number one mistake you're probably making As I say here, it's time to clear the confusion. Stop focusing on weight loss. Now, you do need to lose a bit of body fat in order to reveal those abs and reveal that muscle definition underneath, but the goal should not be weight loss, right? Like it's not about the scale at this point when you're skinny fat. It's about how you actually look. And the term body composition, this is a term I didn't even know for a long time, but think about it. Composition, what your body is composed of when referring to fat versus muscle. So if you're skinny fat, you have more fat than you have muscle. So if you want to recompose your body, you're going to need to gain the muscle while shedding the fat, that sort of thing. So like I said, the reason your body appears skinny fat is not because you have too much fat, it's because you actually have too little muscle mass. And it doesn't mean this is time to bulk up. It just means we need to shift our priorities, like I said, from just focusing on the scale weight to seeing how your body looks and recomposing what your body is composed of. And I broke it down into three key elements that you need to understand. Number one, diet. Number two, gym. Number three, sleep. And I go into detail further on here. So let's see. So diet, when it comes to burning the fat, like I said, we do need to be in a calorie deficit slightly just so we can burn the fat. Maybe it's not actually so slightly the what I recommend, but eat 350 to 600 calories less than you're using every single day. So let's say you found your maintenance calories to be around 2,400. Eat 2,000 calories, maybe 1,800 calories, somewhere around that range is good. So you can shed the fat fairly quickly. But another thing is make sure you're having 1 to 1.5 grams of protein per pound of body weight that you weigh. So if you weigh 150 pounds right now, at least get 150 grams of protein every single day. And there's really no upper limit to how much protein you should have to where it becomes a negative. So really just the more protein, the better. And also, something I neglected initially on my journey and something I still sometimes struggle with is getting in my healthy fats. So I recommend zero point 0.4 grams of healthy fats per pound of body weight that you weigh. And this is for your testosterone. This is for how you'll feel, how you'll sleep, your sex drive, like all these sort of things that make you feel like a man and make you feel like a human are going to stem from getting your healthy fat. So just take whatever, however many pounds you weigh, multiply it by zero point 0.4, and that's how many healthy fats to get per day. And you can get these fats from avocados, peanuts, oils, specifically extra virgin olive oil. That's a good one. Things like that. Butter too, if it's like a good butter, like I forget the one I have. It's like Irish something butter. But the second one is gym. So remember. We need to prioritize building muscle. We need to prioritize lifting weights when we're in the gym instead of cardio. You can still do cardio if you want to do it later on in the day or if you want to do a little bit right after your workout. It's not great to do it right after you lift weights, like intense cardio, but you could go on a walk if you wanted to. Um, and the way I structure my current lifts and the lifts for my clients who are skinny fat, and also just the advice I give to anybody is you want to do 8 to 12 sets to failure per muscle group per week. Okay, so understand what I just said. Take each muscle group to failure 8 to 12 sets per week. Okay, so what's a muscle group, right? Let's say we're talking about the pecs, right? Our chest. We need to take our chest to failure at least 8 sets per week, right? So that can look like something as simple as the bench press or dumbbell press or chest flies, or you can mix it up. You could do a chest day twice a week. And let's say in your chest day, you do 2 sets of incline bench press to failure and then 2 sets of pec deck flies to failure. And you do that, so that's 4 sets per workout, and you do that twice a week. That's 8 sets, and you could do a set of dips, set of push-ups, something like that, to get it up to 12. Or it doesn't really matter. It's not like 12 is better. It's kind of just this is the optimal range, and you have to just find what you prefer, like what kind of works for you. For me personally, I kind of do like around 9 to 10 sets to failure per week. And then use the 6 to 8 rep range. It really doesn't matter how many reps you're doing as long as you're taking each set to failure. Don't go more than 30 reps because at that point you're just doing cardio. So I like to keep it between 6 to 8 reps. if you can do more, if you pick a weight and you realize you can do more than eight reps, then just increase the weight for your next set. Still take that set to failure, but increase it for the next set. If you can't even do six, which is the bottom of the rep range, then decrease the weight. And then sleep, you need to have your sleep dialed in because this is where all the results are actually going to come to fruition. All the hard work you put in through the day when it comes to restricting yourself with your diet, eating that high protein diet, pushing yourself in the gym, all of that is going to pay off when you're sleeping. So getting 8 hours of sleep a night is super essential. It's also going to make you feel the best. When it comes to testosterone, it's going to make you feel the least hungry. So these are the three essentials. If you're not doing these, then you're not going to see the results. Like if you really want this bad enough, you'll do these three things. And I talk about how my client Graham was super consistent. He was a killer. He was working like I think like 50, 60 hours a week. He was a nurse, so he was working like long shifts, like 12, 16 hour, 24-hour shift, like all of these things, and he was still making it happen. So this was him. I'm pretty sure he only because it was like a few months ago that we worked together. He lost like 20 pounds within our first 50 days, and then we started bulking, but he got shredded. I mean, you could see there wasn't much definition. Now he has like the ab veins. Like he was able to um, really get out of that skinny fat phase and get that lean body. Um, and now let's go to the next page. Okay, let's zoom out a little bit. So, secret number two, this is the ultimate food checklist. Okay, I don't like meal plans. I don't give my clients strict meal plans. I give them grocery lists. I give them more flexible options because it's more practical. I give them like how many calories and protein to eat. And I personally do this. I don't follow a meal plan. I have a flexible approach where I know how much protein and how much calories I should eat per day, and I know the best foods to be able to hit those goals. So for me, the hardest part was always diet. It still is when I go on my current cuts and bulks, and it was initially. I was addicted to junk food, candy, chips, and when I first started my journey, I always found myself either starving, like super hungry, or I was breaking my calorie limit, or I was not hitting my protein goal. And this was like an everyday thing. And most of the time, it was all three. I was starving, I was breaking my calorie limit, and I didn't have enough protein. But I invented this food checklist where you can apply it to any food and know if it's going to actually help you accomplish your goal, if it's gonna get you to where you need to be. So the three checks, the three boxes you need to check off. You need to choose a food that is low in calories. This will make it easier to stay in your calorie deficit. You need to pick a food that's high in protein or specifically protein dense, and then a food that is physically large. Because I realized two of my biggest vices or two of my biggest struggles were I had a really bad sweet tooth and I had a really big appetite, which made it hard to stay in a calorie deficit. So what I did to manage this is low calorie foods that are physically large here. I talk about it here in this next one. I just want to finish this real quick. If you follow the checklist and you create every meal to check off those boxes, it'll be inevitable for you to hit your daily diet goals, but most importantly, see great results. And does the food I eat have to check off all three boxes? It does not, but make sure at least it checks off two of these boxes. If it doesn't check off two of these boxes, then you really shouldn't be eating it unless it's like a cheat meal or something. But for instance, let's say a food like watermelon. Watermelon's low in calories. It doesn't have any protein, but it's physically large, right? So it's low calories, physically large, checks off two boxes. That's a great food to have. It's gonna fill you up for low calories. A food like grilled chicken breast checks off all three boxes. It's low in calories, it has a ton of protein, and it's physically large. You could have a pound of grilled chicken breast for 400 calories and 88 grams of protein. That's going to fill you up pretty well. So all these three things make sure that checks off, and I give some examples here of foods that I prefer to have versus avoid. These are some examples of foods that check off all three boxes. You have grilled chicken breast, ground turkey, sirloin tip steak tends to be the leanest steak, fat-free Greek yogurt. I like Dannon or Chobani, Dannon light and fit Greek yogurt or Chobani zero sugar. And then whey protein shakes. All of these foods are relatively low calories, they're super packed with protein, and they're going to actually fill you up. And then some of these foods check off two of the boxes, like I said, watermelon, low calorie and it's filling. Protein bars are low calorie, and they're high in protein. They're not really that filling though. Strawberries, low calorie and filling. They don't have high protein. Diet soda is low calorie and it'll fill you up. It doesn't have any protein, of course. And then breaded slash fried meat, if you had like chicken cutlets or something, it's gonna be high in protein. It's gonna fill you up, but it's not low calorie. And then some foods I tend to avoid when I'm cutting, or when I'm, getting shredded, getting out of that skinny fat phase. What I recommend my clients. Um, these foods don't check off at least two of these boxes, so I tend to avoid them. It doesn't mean they're bad, but I tend to avoid them because they don't follow the checklist. Peanut butter slash nut butters, oils, granola, cereal, most smoothies, juice, and obviously just traditional junk food like pizza, candy. I didn't feel like I had like soda. I didn't feel like I had to mention those because I felt like that was pretty obvious. Um, and let's talk about why, right? Let's see, oils, for instance. Oils are super high in calorie, they have no protein, and they're not going to fill you up. Peanut butter, it's super high in calories. It has a little bit of protein. I wouldn't say it's protein dense though, and it's not really going to fill you up, maybe a little bit. Cereal, it's kind of low in calories. It has no protein and it's not really going to fill you up. Most smoothies aren't low in calorie, don't have any protein, and will probably fill you up though. Juice, always high in calories, no protein, and it's not going to fill you up. And like I said, these foods aren't bad, because hypothetically you could have all these foods and still stay in your calorie deficit and still hit your protein goal as long as you ate, other foods throughout the day. But it's going to be harder to sustain because they don't check off the boxes, right? You're going to be hungry, you're going to miss your protein goal, you're going to go over your calorie limit, that sort of thing. Um, and another thing, like I mentioned in this, I said fat was important, but I also didn't put fat on the checklist. This is because most of the time, if you're eating these foods, you're eating meals and you're having your steak, um, maybe you're having like a little bit of oil with you're cooking with oil, maybe you're having eggs, maybe you're having a little bit of peanut butter. I feel like most people are gonna get their fats just from trace fats, like they're just gonna indirectly get their fats. They don't have to go to a fat source. But if you're noticing your fat is pretty low, like you're not hitting your fat goal per day, definitely go for some of these. Not like granola and cereal, but oils, peanut butters, avocados is another good one. Eggs is obviously a great one, which does check off the boxes being high protein and it's kind of filling, it's kind of low calories. I don't know, maybe. But eggs are like nature's superfood. And then this is my client Alex, who was a big runner. He was in that skinny fat phase, and once he started following the checklist and followed the plan I gave him when it came to diet and the workouts and everything, this was literally 1 month. This is his first month working with me. He got abs, he got muscle definition. It's awesome. Um, the third secret is that eating healthy won't get you shredded. Eating healthy won't get you shredded. When you hear people say that food's good for you or that food's bad for you, always keep in mind what goal does that person have in mind when they are saying that. If their goal is to get shredded, then maybe they'll say something like diet soda is good for you. If their goal is to optimize their health and be one of those people that avoids seed oils and avoids red 40 and all those sort of things, then diet soda is probably not a great option for them. Um, so keep in mind what your goal is. If your goal is to get shredded, you shouldn't be prioritizing the quality of food. You should be prioritizing hitting your protein goal, like the checklist and what I mentioned here. But let's go back here. So I see a very common mistake, people focusing on the quality of food. You could eat only processed foods, hit your protein goal, stand to your calorie limit, you'd still get shredded. And let's say hypothetically you ate whatever you want, or you ate all the healthy foods, but you didn't really track your protein, you didn't track your calories, you're not going to get shredded, right? The healthy food, you might see a little bit of progress, but it wouldn't get you shredded. Like nothing exceptional happens on accident. And like I mentioned, the only thing that actually is essential is hitting your protein goal in order to maintain and build muscle, staying in your calorie deficit to burn fat, and hitting your fat goal to regulate your hormones and testosterone. Um, the fourth secret. Um, you can gain muscle while losing body fat. So while social media will lead you to believe that you have to go on a bulk and put on body fat to gain muscle, and you have to cut and get small to get shredded, it's not true because this is me. My first ever journey, I gained muscle, I built muscle, I gained strength, but this is like a probably a 20-pound difference right here. A 20-pound difference, 20 pounds lighter in this picture, of course. Because this was my first like 5 months lifting weights in the gym. So I got those newbie gains, but also if you've been working out and you're skinny fat, you can still experience pretty awesome results when you really dial in your diet and some of the extra things and really get a routine that's built for a skinny fat person. And in this, I wasn't even training that much. I was training 2 to 4 times per week. Um, didn't even have the optimal plan, didn't have the optimal diet, but I just pushed myself hard in the gym, got decent sleep, and I made it happen. And that's one of the good things about being skinny fat is like I mentioned here, your muscles are basically dormant. Like your body is a physical representation of your lifestyle. So if you're skinny fat, you're basically not needing muscle, right? All the muscle on my body is here because it thinks it needs to be there, right? Your body's always adapting. So if you're skinny fat, your body's essentially adapting to a pretty physically easy lifestyle, right? Even if you were working construction or something like that, you would put on a good amount of muscle, right? But when I was skinny fat, I was just playing video games all day. I was a loser. Um, Definitely wasn't physically demanding at all. Let's get into secret number five. Nothing matters if you don't do this. There was only one thing that allowed me to accomplish my dream physique. It wasn't having the perfect diet plan, the perfect workout routine, the best supplements. The one skill that changed my life was consistency. And yes, I said skill. A skill is something that you get better at over time through practice and repetition. It won't matter how perfect your plan is if you're not consistently showing up every day and putting effort towards progress. It doesn't matter how bad you mess up. If you give up, you guarantee failure. But I believe if you stay consistent, you guarantee success. I truly believe that. So for context, was I my best self every day? No. Was my progress linear? No. Did I frequently mess up? Yes. Did I frequently self-sabotage? Yes. But the reason I look like this right now is because I stayed consistent. I kept showing up. I never stopped showing up. And this is just a I guess, continued page of it. A very common mistake is the belief that consistency refers to being perfect all the time. I'm here to let you know that that is false. Like I said, because I messed up so many times. The only thing that matters is that every day you have the intention of giving some level of effort to make progress. Some days you're only going to have 25% of your best self to give, but if you give that 25%, you gave it all you got, and that is what matters most. Not only have I messed up hundreds of times in my initial journey, but I still mess up. So keep that in mind. Keep in mind what I just said. Show up every single day. You need to get out of bed every single day and just have the smallest, it doesn't matter how small it is. Consistency just refers to showing up every single day, right? And what signifies someone who shows up is someone who intends to put effort in order to make progress. So if you wake up every single day with the intention of making progress, no matter how small it is, because like I said, some days you're going to feel like crap, some days you're going to get bad sleep. As long as you go up and you say, listen, I don't have a lot to give today, but I'm gonna make it happen. You might have just had a massive cheat day the night before. You might have just went out drinking. You might have just whatever happened, just show up the next day and tell yourself you're gonna make it happen, and you won't fail. It's inevitably. Eventually, you'll succeed. Like I mentioned in this, just a couple weeks ago, I had a massive cheat day and had 7,000 calories in one day. I'm dead serious. It's December 19th, 2024. I'm recording this. It was a little bit long. It was like I had 7,000 calories in one day. It was a complete lapse. It was a complete weakness. It was a day of weakness essentially. But I woke up that next day. I put in the effort. I woke up at 4 a.m. I did my push-ups. I hit the gym. I still made it happen no matter how bad my brain was telling me to continue self-sabotaging and give in to those temptations. I refused it and I stuck to the plan. And by the end of the week, I was leaner than I was the day before. So that's how powerful it is when you stay consistent. Um, and I just kind of mentioned it further in there. Secret number six, drown out the noise and stay strong. People rarely talk about this, but some of the hardest parts about embarking on a fitness journey is one, the social pressure for you to enjoy yourself, the doubt that others will see it in your mind, and the haters that will make you feel foolish. These are all three real struggles that I overcame in my journey. So, first, let's talk about the social pressure to enjoy yourself. I can't tell you the amount of times. It was definitely a much harder on my initial journey because when you're starting your journey, that's when others will first think you're weird, like your close friends and family will think you're weird or think you're acting abnormal. It happens less now because I've been doing this for about 3 years. So when I only eat grilled chicken throughout the day or when I don't eat the junk food, my family isn't like, what are you doing? Like they get it now. But initially, there's such a social pressure. Oh, I just want you to enjoy yourself. I just want you to take the day out, like all that sort of thing. You have to stay strong, stay to the path. Remember why you want this. Remember the things that will happen in your life if you accomplish this. Stay strong. It's not time to enjoy yourself yet by giving into your vices. That's not how you enjoy yourself by looking down and seeing a six pack. Eating that piece of cake is not going to have you enjoy yourself if you regret it for the rest of the night and the rest of the day, the next day, and the rest of the week. That's not enjoying yourself. That's a miserable time, and I'm speaking from experience. The second one, doubt that others will see it in your mind. So, what do I mean by this? People, they're not going to intentionally they're not intentionally rooting for you to fail when I say this. People just like to give advice that they hear, but they don't really know what they're talking about. For instance, I remember when I was cutting down initially, getting from going from skinny fat to a lean physique, people would say, "Why are you eating so little? Do you have an eating disorder? Are you starving yourself? Is everything okay? Oh, all that protein you're having is bad for your kidneys. Oh, you shouldn't take creatine. I heard that's bad for you." Like all these different things, right? They're seeding doubt in your mind, making you feel like you're gonna mess up. But remember who you're taking your advice from. You wouldn't take financial advice from a homeless person. So translate that to a fitness journey. Don't take advice from people who don't have what you want. And that kind of just goes for everything in life. But you just can't let that doubt influence your behavior. And lastly, the haters are going to make you feel foolish. When I was getting in the gym, the same people who would make fun of me for being fat and being skinny fat were the same people who would make fun of me for being in the gym. They would make fun of me for being a worse version of myself and then make fun of me when I actually put effort towards improvement, right? Haters will always try to pull you down from that mountain as you're climbing up it, and you have to stay strong because they'll make you feel foolish. They'll laugh at you. They'll say, "Why are you in the gym? Why are you working out? You look terrible. You have a terrible physique. Why are you in the gym? You don't belong here." They'll make you feel foolish. They'll laugh at you, but you have to stay strong. And eventually, like I experienced in my journey, they'll come around. They'll be the ones asking you for help to get to where you get to once you get the results. And then secret number seven, the timeline moving forward is a future timeline and then when to increase your calories. So typically I've noticed that most skinny fat guys need to lose around 15 to 20 pounds before they're lean enough to increase calories. So in this photo, like I mentioned, I was around 175. In this photo, I was around 155. In this photo, I was around 145. I increased calories around this rate, but I could have at this rate. I didn't really make any progress between December and February. Like, yeah, I lost a little bit of weight, but it didn't really do anything for me. I could have increased my calories when I was here. It was my first ever journey though. I didn't know what an optimal plan looked like. This was when I was only 5 months into my journey. So, like I mentioned, so this can take 2 to 6 months depending on how steep of a calorie deficit you're in. If you only eat in a 200 calorie deficit, then you're probably gonna need like a good 6 months. If you are eating in like a 800 calorie deficit, you could probably get there within like 50 days, 75 days. Also, depending on how much body fat you have, I should have added that here. It also depends on your activity level, how much you're lifting weights, how frequently you're doing cardio, and then obviously how consistent you actually stick to the diet and stick to the training. During my first year, I was officially able to get in shape, going from this body to this body in from July 2021 to 2022. I only started actually weightlifting when I was here, so really it was kind of like a what would that be like a 8 month or like a 10-month gym transformation? Regardless, um, like I mentioned, when most people get to this level of leanness, they can increase calories. And when you're increasing calories, you want to make sure you're increasing in like 100 calorie increments. So let's say you're in an 800 calorie deficit. Let's say you're eating 1800 calories per day. Up it to 1900, then the next week 2000, then the next week. Initially, actually, you could go a little bit higher. You could go from 1800 to like 2100 and then go up to like 2150 maybe, then 2200, then 2250, something like that. But just make sure it's slow so you don't put on excess body fat. You can maintain your level of leanness. And I just go on further and say initially your weight will increase because your muscles are going to get filled up with carbs, filled up with water and glycogen. So your muscles are actually going to look bigger and you're going to actually look leaner because obviously if you have more muscle, you have a lower body fat percentage just intrinsically. And you'll probably gain anywhere from 3 to 10 pounds. 10 is kind of a stretch. Like you probably, if you're getting 10 pounds within like your first 2 weeks off of a cut, then you should probably chill out and maintain your calories or decrease your calories a little bit. But it depends on a lot of things. But 3 to 10 pounds is normally the threshold just to allow yourself to fill up with carbs and glycogen. Like I said, just be careful. You don't want to put on body fat. And eventually, within like 2 months, you'll reach your maintenance calories where you eat a level of calories and your weight just remains the same. At that rate, just keep training to failure. Don't worry about going on a bulk you don't need to. Just keep pushing yourself in the gym, eating the high protein, eating around maintenance calories, and you'll see the muscle growth. And I just wanted to do a little bit of client spotlight. This was Graham. Like I mentioned, I told the story, lost 20 pounds first 50 days or so, then we started bulking. Aiden lost 30 pounds in his first 60 days. He's still killing it. Ethan gained 15 pounds of muscle. So he was more on like the skinny lean side rather than skinny fat, but we were able to still put on 15 pounds of lean muscle. He still definitely lost body fat and gained muscle in the process though. Mick, he was able to cut down about 15 pounds and then we started bulking up. He made some really cool progress. Mustafa, he lost 20, what was it, 22 pounds, and then we entered a bulking phase. Um, but he went from skinny fat to abs. He also was training a while before this, so he didn't really get those newbie gains. Um, but he was still able to gain strength while shedding the body fat and get that muscle definition. And then Alex, like I mentioned before, this was his first ever transformation. And also, if you want to go to my Instagram, one of my pinned posts is a client spotlight where I have some of these guys, but also some other ones that just talk about the experience. And then obviously I have my transformation here. Um, so you guys can. If you want, you can download this document. I'll put it in the description of this video, but I really hope this helped, guys. And also, I didn't mention in the gym. Like I said, I want to just add this in real quick. Prioritizing lifting instead of cardio. You can still do cardio. Cardio will still be beneficial for you. I just was kind of like I kind of hated cardio when I started my journey, so I just like the idea of prioritizing weightlifting, but definitely doing cardio helps out a lot. It'll help speed up the process. As long as you're getting your protein and everything like that, and you're prioritizing lifting weights, like lifting weights first before you do cardio. Um, so that's everything, guys. I hope this was helpful. If it was helpful, send me a DM on Instagram. Let me know what your biggest takeaway is. Let me know any questions. I'll respond to your DM. Just let me know you came from this video though, and I'll respond to. But I love you guys. Sub to the channel. Follow me on Instagram at Better Lifestyle 365. All my socials are Better Lifestyle 365. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.